Welcome back to A Shot of Weeb right off camera. John is over here making fun of my taste again.
Well, yeah, because you won't watch. You gave Dead Leaves a 4,
Well, that's
bro.
not my fault. I didn't know if we were actually using her that one, so I should have committed. But you know what? We're with it. Welcome back, everybody.
Yeah, it's committed. It's committed. Yeah.
It's locked in.
Oh
Um,
boy.
Welcome to the show where we totally know what we're doing. Um, so
Well, I'm the Seaweed ambassador. He didn't properly introduce me.
you
And
know what?
he's
It's
the epic
payback for you
wob.
getting it wrong last time. I'm the epic wob. In the
Uh,
last
what-
episode,
did
I
I-
don't even know if it's aired yet.
It's up by now. What the heck? God, no faith. No faith.
Who knows? We might not even have owls up by this point.
It better be. You said it was done. Oh.
Yeah,
all right.
it is scheduled for tomorrow. Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
Oh god. All right.
For,
Well.
for those of you that have been following our uploads as they happen on time, things have been a bit fucking rocky. So we're finally
Yeah.
leveling out, hopefully. So
Mhm.
you can look forward to normal uploads again.
Yeah. Yes. So it should be fun. But there should be 3 new YouTube uploads this week. So.
Oh my.
YouTube's gonna
So-
love us this week.
Dude,
Boy.
honestly, so many published episodes, all of which get 3 views.
They might push it harder because it's more consistent, or because it's more in 1 week. Though, YouTube
So-
likes to kill its creators.
This week of the Shot of Weeb rotation was Seaweed's choice. Would you
That's
like to
right.
introduce the show that you picked for us this week?
I would love to. So the show we watched this week is Prince of Stride Alternative. Let's get the subtitle: Boys Sprint to the End of Summer.
Mm-hmm. I noticed that
great.
during the final episode.
It was in the OP every time.
Yeah, and I didn't notice it until the final OP.
Well, maybe you should start watching the shows closer.
No.
Maybe that's the issue we're having. I think it's time
you
for a
should-
rewatch of
maybe
Dead
you
Leaves.
should fix your monitor to actually display correctly over there.
At least I have one, buddy. Be glad I'm using it.
I was about to say I don't own a TV, and then I realized I'm using it as a computer monitor. So, do you want to take our shot?
Yep.
I'm taking my shot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had to drink for that one, but yeah, let's take a shot. It's not really a shot. I don't have a shots this week.
I am running low on both of my bottles of vodka, so I've attempted to mix the two of them, and I don't know what this is going to be like.
I forgot
So-
you did this, yeah.
Yeah,
should
we're
be
going to find
interesting.
out. It's
Yeah.
half strawberry lemonade and half raspberry, and I'm kind of concerned.
Oh, boy.
We'll find out. Just put all the fruit
Yep.
together.
All right.
Bye.
Come by. It's pretty good stuff. Gotta say. Really.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't. Oh,
It tastes like vodka.
oh, what an observation.
I couldn't really notice how the freaking 3 different fruits play off each other because all I did was burn. Let's go back in.
Yeah. Oh, so we're at round 2. Like to see it. Like to
No,
see
I just
it.
didn't. I didn't go for all of it at once. I always say that I'm taking a shot. I don't have a shot glass. These are always estimated. I'm pretty sure I take really freaking large shots. So when I take 4, drink responsibly. We know what we're doing.
Yeah. We know what we're doing.
It's a
Drink
disclaimer.
responsibly.
I found that
Yes.
out. We had in the last episode I edited. We just had this tirade where we couldn't remember what the fuck a disclaimer was. That's the word.
Oh, did we? I don't remember that.
Yeah, that's what it was. When
I'm
I went
sure
back
we
to
did.
re-edit Hal's, we did the drink responsibly.
Oh, that's
disclaimer.
right.
And you're like,
That's right.
I need to tell them to what's the word, and we both just froze for like 5 minutes.
That's right. Yeah, that was fun. That was fun times.
Okay,
Well,
kick us into the show.
all right. So Princess Stride is about pretty boys, and it's also sports. About boys running to the end of summer. What more do you want from a show? Name one thing. One more thing besides pretty boys and sports. What else do you need?
I was about to say it needs a best girl, but then I realized one of the boys is best girl, so
Say you sent me that message. Yeah.
I did.
There also
I'm not going to explain
There
myself
also is
yet.
by default. There is a best girl because
Literally.
there's one girl on the show.
There's a second one, isn't there?
I don't think so. No.
Oh.
You're talking about the runner with the split hair?
Oh, is that a dude? Because I thought she was really cute.
Yeah, no, because during their match, Yuri Himemiya went up against Hozumiko Hinata, and Yuri was just like, "Hey, don't." He said something about him being about Kohinata being like a pretty boy, who almost looked like a girl, but they are using he and stuff.
Oh,
So,
no. So, wait. Which one's which? I'll be completely honest. I did not write down any characters' names. Do you have a character list, by the way? I forgot to look that up.
I sent that to you.
No, you sent me the episode list.
Yeah, no, I sent you both.
Wait, did you? No,
yes.
you didn't.
Yes, I did. The one above it, it just didn't go to the characters page. Just click on the AnyList link.
There isn't one above that. I'm looking
Then
at the
it might be
call.
right
I'm looking
below.
at the Discord logs right now. No, it's all me posting. You only sent one link. I'm getting the characters list right now.
It was definitely sent there. It was sent. Discord. That must have been when. Here, I've got it. I've got the link.
Too late. I've already pulled it up.
Well, too late. I already sent you the link.
Ah.
So.
Why do people watch this show? This show is in our show.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, it's because people didn't watch Princess Stride, and they should.
Oh wait, it only AnyList only gives character names for like the main team cast
Honen.
team. Honen. I
Honen.
kept wanting to say Hanako, but that's a
It also gives like the other important characters' names.
Not on.
And then Yuri.
Not on the one I'm on.
It goes past just Honen.
Do you have a different?
I sent you the link to the page I'm on. There's not a lot of characters on this list, but 3 of them are not Honen.
Wait, that's weird. I'm on. These are both the pages for Prince of Stride Alternative, but they show different character lists.
What?
This is very confusing. No, I'm literally on the AnyList page. They have the same top. Oh, one is Prince of Stride Alternative. One is Prince of Stride characters. Never mind. I figured it out. No thoughts, head empty. No thoughts, head empty.
Boy, this one's gonna be a rough one, huh?
Yeah. No.
All right.
So apparently Yuri is a guy. I'm not taking it back. They're still super freaking cute. Get over it.
Okay. And they are.
I wish I could do my hair like that. Anyway, what show did we watch? We watched Princess Stride Alternative. How do we lead this off?
Yep.
How do you want to lead this off? Like, the actual story.
The actual story? We do story or characters?
Let's do the characters as we go, especially because, like, a lot of the character stuff that we could talk about is spoiler. Because, like, we find out a lot about each character.
Okay.
Every character develops a lot as they go on.
Okay. Well, then I'll say this. If you haven't watched this show, go watch the show right now. It's a fantastic show. Spoiling myself a little bit in the rating, but like, go watch the show.
Second that motion. Go ahead and watch it before we talk about it, because we will spoil it.
It also just needs more people to watch it, bro.
Yeah,
Nobody talks about this show.
It apparently has like a 64%, it looks like.
Yeah, it has a 64% on AnyList, which is blasphemy. But we'll get into that. We'll get into that later. So starting off with the story, I guess. So we start with episode 1.
They run.
Yeah. So, well, okay. Well, no, we should give like an explanation. So, stride is the sport, right? And it's not just running. It's like a combination of parkour and relay racing.
Yeah.
And,
It's primarily relay, but it takes place over like urban / obstacle environments.
Yeah, and it's Honen is like one of the big names in Stride. Like they had one of the best teams and everything. Mm-hmm. And so one of our main characters, who there are 3 main characters, I would say, but we'll get into that in a bit. But so Nana Sakurai the only girl in the show. She really likes stride, and so she goes to Honan because she sees this clip. It's very reminiscent of Haikyuu, where Hinata joins
If you say
Karasuno. Well, because Hinata joins Karasuno because he sees the little giant, and he's like, "That's where I want to go," right? So it's very similar to that. So she goes, finds the club room, and it's also partially the shogi club now, and she's like, "Well, what's going on?"
And it's in this little back office behind a junk-filled hallway. It's not like...
Yeah, no, it's not a high-profile club. Like, some students didn't even know it was still active, or like together or anything. So
that's a mood, though. I've run clubs like that before.
Yeah.
I ran the chess club in high school that had like 5 people. I ran the CCF in my college that had like 4.
Yeah. So I've never really been in clubs before, so I'll just have to take your word for it. I've been on sports teams, though, where we were really lacking in players and stuff.
I have not been on a sports team since I was a tiny little kid. I was in like 3rd grade when I played baseball, and I sucked at it.
See, I think senior year of high school, I think we had 19 people on the football team, which, if you don't know, that's not enough to make 2 sides of the ball.
Wait, how many people do you need for football?
11 on the field every time. At all times.
That's less than 19.
I said both sides of the ball.
What's that mean?
Offense and defense.
What's that mean?
What? You don't know what offense and defense is?
In football? No, I don't football. It looks like
there's the team, the offense, which has the ball, and the defense, which is trying to stop the side with the ball. Okay, so you don't have enough for 2 teams, is what you're saying. Yeah, but you just say both sides of the ball when it's one team, because like we couldn't practice against a full team, against a full half of the ball.
That is a phrase I've never heard in my life.
Oh man, we're gonna have to watch some more sports anime.
Dude, I hate football. I'll be real.
Oh man, here we go.
It looks like a bunch
man
of
claims he's from the
no
South.
Rules.
Man claims he's from the South, and he doesn't even like football. Look, I don't think you're from the South, buddy.
My grandpa was always disappointed in me because I couldn't get into sports. But to be fair, he always wanted me to watch baseball. He took me to a local baseball game once when I was little, and I fell asleep in the grass.
Look, baseball sucks ass, okay?
Better than football.
Football? No, it's not.
I understand football. I understand baseball better than football. I'll grant you that. I used to play baseball.
Yeah, I did too. So I know.
Couldn't hit the ball. I couldn't catch the ball, but by golly, I could steal a base. But we were also in Little League, so it barely counts.
Yeah, I mean, I was also playing Little League, but football is so much more fun. There's so many rules to football. Happens. Not just people running around.
It's people running around until a bunch of people jump on a guy, and then everyone dies.
No. That's not... I'm not... Look, this is not the Ice Shield 21 episode, okay?
I've watched The Blind Side.
Clearly you haven't. Clearly you have not watched The Blind Side. If that's your definition of football. Oh my...
I've watched Facing the Giants. Do you even know what that is?
Yes, I know what that is.
Oh, okay.
I've seen that movie. I can probably name more sports movies than you, buddy.
Yeah, well, I don't even count that as a sports movie. That's a church movie.
That's the definition of a sports movie is Facing the Giants. What are you talking about?
But it's all church-based. It's like, God will give you the strength to kick a football. Woo!
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's rooted in Christianity. That doesn't...
I've only had 3 shots.
Okay.
Why am I already this out of it?
I can, like... Do you
want to talk about Princess Stride?
I can say Kill la Kill is just rooted in strippers, and that's the whole... That's what the show's about. But it's not. Just because there's one aspect to it doesn't make it not something else.
So the show.
No, we're not moving on from this, buddy. You gotta explain yourself. Yeah, well, you're eating into the time, aren't you?
I don't know sports ball, okay?
Oh, that's so cringe. That's so
I
cringe.
just see people running and yelling, and then they hit into each other, and I'm like, dude, that's dangerous.
No, it's fun. It's called fun.
So the show starts off
Anyways.
with Sakurai, Nana, girl. She's the girl.
Yes.
Is in like a flower field watching a YouTube video. And then she goes to school at Honan, and she nearly misses the gate. And then, what's his name? Yosuke from Persona 4 jumps over the fence.
Oh, I mean, well, you might have remembered his name if you would have finished another show, but his name's Yagami.
I do remember Yagami's name. I just wanted to make the Persona joke, okay? I get the same energy from them.
I guess, yeah.
Although I couldn't remember if it was Yosuke or Yusuke, because as much as I love Persona, those names being similar messes with me.
It's Yusuke.
Yusuke's the dumb one from 4 or the painter from 5?
I'm pretty sure he's the dumb one from 4.
That sounds right. Do you want to
Anyways. Take over? You didn't even get to where I was. Anyways, so she joins, she walks into the Stride club room, and they're playing shogi, and they're like, yeah, we don't have enough people to make a team, and then Fujiwara comes in. Fujiwara looks just like Kageyama from Haikyuu, and a lot of other sports anime protagonists, and anime protagonists in general.
I know most of the characters by name. I am going to be calling him Legman.
Sounds like a Tsuburaya hero. Anyways, so yeah, he comes in and he's like, oh, we need 2 more members. Okay, well I have 1. Like I know where we can go grab 1. And then so he goes and grabs Yagami, and because Yagami is like trying out for all the different sports clubs, and they're like, here, you should join us because he's really good at sports. And they're like, you should join us. He's like, only if I get to join other clubs as well.
Well, actually,
and they're all just confused.
So he's like good at the athletic part of it, sucks at the actual sport. Like he catches up to a volleyball that they're like, there's no way he'll get there, but he hits it like way into the wrong place, or he catches up with a really crazy ping pong serve.
He was like he caught up. He went ahead of the receive, so he was faster than the ball was because it landed on his head.
Move fast, but that doesn't mean he's good at the game.
Well, he's athletic.
Yes.
But every sports club wants him. And then as he's like talking with the ping pong club, and they're like, yeah, no, you can join whatever else you want to join. That's fine with us. That's when Fujiwara comes in and drags him off physically.
Literally picks him up and carries him to the club room.
Yeah. And Yagami is fighting. And then eventually they're just kind of like, all right, well, how about this? If you can beat the second years in a stride, then you don't have to join. And so they team up. It's Fujiwara and Yagami. And then it's Kohinata and Hasakura. And then there's this other position, which is called a relationer. Because in stride, it's different than like a regular relay race where you're just waiting there for the other person. You have to catch up to a certain point in the
takeover zone.
Yeah, the takeover zone. And then you gotta clap hands, and you're good. Then that's how the relay works. And so you don't really know when you need to start running, and so that's why the relationer's there to tell you when to start, and then to let you know. It also lets you know like if people are closing in behind or whatever, any shortcuts you should take, stuff like that. That's what the relationer's job is.
They coordinate.
Yeah, they're the coordinator. Yep, and that's what a Sakurai wants to do. But there's not many women in stride either.
Yeah, everyone's like, what, a girl relationer? No.
Yeah, it's very rare, because it seems to be just like a guy's sport. I think it's kind of the same as like, it's the same as like with football. Like, yes, there are girls who play football, but it's not normal. It's rare
because she's only the second woman in the entire show. There's 2. We forgot one.
Oh yeah,
brand
whatever.
lady.
Yeah, we'll get to her. Um, yeah, and the reason that she's the only girl in the show, I don't know if you know, but it's because this is based on a visual novel,
Oh,
an
really?
otome game. Yeah, it's based on an otome game. Which, do you know what those are?
Not by name.
Okay, so an otome is where you play as a girl and you're trying to seduce a guy,
Okay.
basically. So there's a bunch of guys and then a girl. So that's what this is based on.
I may or may not be
Um,
looking information on it right now.
I mean, I'm sure it's good. I don't care. Um, yeah, no, I mean it's I've never played it or really looked into it. I only found it out recently that
Mm.
that's what it was based on. I figured it was like a light novel or a manga. And there is a manga for this, but I think it's like a sequel thing. I don't think it's the same, just adaptation.
Yeah, no, that's interesting.
Which is
I
nice. Which
actually
is
I
nice.
didn't know that.
Yeah. Yep. That's why it's a bunch of pretty boys, and then the girl who is still pretty, but I would call her kind of plain. You know.
Everybody in this show is beautiful. Even Shogi Kid, who's probably not supposed to be he still looks good. Everyone.
Yeah. Katawaki.
Yeah,
Katawaki's great. Yeah.
yeah. Like I said, I remember most of the characters' names, even though I didn't write them down. This is the first time I didn't write any names down. I remember most of them except Shogi Boy and Legman, because those are what I just called them.
Oh yeah. No, it's Fujiwara and Katawaki. Um.
Yeah, but I remember Kuga, I
Yeah.
remember Heath, I remember Nana and the Yagamis.
Yeah.
Plot twist, there's two
Um.
Yagamis, spoiler alert.
It's not really. They say it in the first episode that he has an older brother.
Yeah, it's like hinted at a bunch of times or like mentioned a bunch of times like in passing, but we don't ever get like a full info on it until much later. Like
Yeah.
six
I mean,
or
like
seven
we see
episodes in.
we see the locker with Yagami's name on it, and it's probably not going to be his dad.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't remember the Yagami locker, but I also can't read kanji, so like I didn't know I didn't know Kuga's
Oh,
locker was.
mine's subtitled. Mine's subtitled that.
Oh, mine did not subtitle the lockers.
Yeah, mine's subtitled most things. That's the official release. The official release does. I know
Yeah,
which release
whereas-
you watched, which is the same one I initially watched as well.
Yeah, because I wound up having to torrent it. I found a website. I was going to watch it on one of my regular websites, and then I went to like finish it yesterday when I thought we were recording.
Yeah.
And it just wouldn't load, so I had to torrent.
Yeah,
And yeah,
it's
no,
a
that didn't
Funimation
subtitle
show.
the lockers because I didn't know that Kuga had a locker until, sorry, Kyosuke.
Kuga.
Kyosuke
Oh.
Kyosuke Kuga. It's the same guy. It's the beautiful pink-haired man. I didn't know it was his
Oh.
locker until they like did like the introduction of him and like lingered on the locker, and I'm like, oh, I get it. Okay.
Yeah. But before episode one's in, they have their race, their stride, and it's through the school, and obviously everybody really likes stride at the school and stuff because they were all helping set up and everything. It was really cool.
Yeah, it's just kind of died here, like very recently.
Yeah. And so they have their stride, and like we get to see some of like the strengths of each of the people. So, like Fujiwara is like very he's really fast and competitive. Then Yagami has an extremely fast start.
But falls apart if he has to go too long.
Right. Kohinata is like the trickster. Pretty sure they called him.
Yeah.
So he does a lot of tricks and stuff, and it's pretty cool.
As far as the actual sport goes, he's my favorite because he does the most parkour, and parkour is like my favorite part of this. Like for context, when you mentioned the show to me, at first you were like, I was like, it's a running show, ugh, and you're like, it's running and parkour, and I'm like, okay, that brings it back a little bit.
Yeah, which it is. It is. But that's not the main focus. Is not really the races. Just like with most sports anime, the main focus is not the sport.
I
sport could have been
kind of wish
anything.
there were more races, honestly, or at least more focus on the races, because I thought those were really, really fun.
They're fun. I really like all the character stuff though, outside of just races.
This is the
And
other
that's
thing
why-
I feel I should mention. This is the first. I don't know if I can really say this is the first sports anime I've watched, but I feel like this is one of the first like straightforward sports anime I've watched. Because before this is like Keijo and Girls in Panzer.
Neither of those I would really consider sports anime. Keijo is a lot closer. Girls in Panzer I wouldn't call sports anime.
I feel like they're both sports anime, but they're like different, like very different feels of it. Whereas this is just straightforward. This is a sports anime.
I mean, I can see that with Keijo, but Girls in Panzer it's not.
Tank battling's a sport.
It just wasn't.
NASCAR's a sport.
I know NASCAR's a sport. NASCAR's great.
Tank battling and NASCAR are basically the same.
No, they're not. NASCAR's way cooler. NASCAR have Jeff Gordon.
Tank battling needs... No, I'm not going to say that. I know it's false. I was going to say it needs more skill than turning left. I know there's more to NASCAR than that. I just like the joke.
Yeah. There's a lot more to NASCAR than just that. But anyways, so he's...
Tom's going to kill me.
Or Hasakuda's like big ability is that he's just very consistent and also like a fast runner.
Mm-hmm. And he's got
that's like his big
hair.
thing. Yeah, he pushes his hair back with a headband. It's really cool. Kohinata has like this kind of girlish look. Riku has really cool hair. He like ties it in like a hat. He like has bangs, then he ties the top of it in a ponytail, and then it's still flowing through. Love that hairstyle. That's peak hairstyle right there.
I tried to do something like that once. It didn't work.
I've done that before. I really like doing it.
I go full ponytail. It looks like crap if I try anything fancy.
And then there's Kadawaki. So Kadawaki was he was the shogi guy. He has green hair and glasses and yeah, he's the smart guy. So for this race, because you need a relationer for each team. So the two relationers were Sakurai for Yagami and Fujiwara because they're all first years, and then Kadawaki for Hasakuda and Kohinata because they're all second years. So it was the first years versus the second years. And it's the only time Kadawaki ever does the relationing throughout the entire show. Because for the rest of the time, it's just Sakurai.
Yeah, because this was before Sakurai really like had a full grasp on like how to do it. I guess.
Well, like, also, but like they just never needed another relationer.
Well, yeah, yeah. Which I feel like we should mention. Like the reason Kadawaki's in the club, I think we briefly talked over this. The reason it's the Stride and Shogi club is because there was a school rules minimum of 3 people, and after the thing that made Stride Club effectively shut down, they only had 2 people left, and so they literally roped a shogi player in to fuse. Because
there was no shogi club.
Yeah, it was literally no just Kadawaki. He was just playing
wherever. Yeah, and so they were like, "Here, we'll give you an official club if you join us, but you also have to practice Stride with us, and we'll play shogi with you." Mm-hmm. And he said, "Okay."
So everybody learns shogi. Everybody knows how to run. Kadawaki is a lot better at shogi than he is at Stride.
Though he's still not bad at Stride, though.
He put in the effort. I'll give him props.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the chess club in high school. I would not be able to do Stride alongside.
Yeah. And so then, the first years win, and even though they won, they're still like, oh god, I love Stride. And so they join the club. I mean, Fujiwara was going to anyways. It's all about Yagami. Yagami's like, I'll join the club.
Yeah, because he has like a lot of reluctance for Stride.
Yeah. So now they have 6 people in the club, including Sakurai, so they have enough to actually participate in matches and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like officially. But they need to get a sponsor.
Yeah, you have to have a sponsor in order to compete in Stride. Which is, I love that, like, that little detail, you know? Because, like, most high school sports have a sponsor, but, like, you don't normally, I mean, like, because I know my high school did. Like, we had sponsors and stuff, but, like, it's not normally, like, a big deal.
It's not a mandatory requisite.
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
What were you excited about?
One character we forgot to mention that I feel like we should go ahead and bring up. There's a coach. His name is Dan, and the only thing that matters about him is that... Now, this doesn't really work so well in the English. This only really works in the Japanese. is that his thing is 4 character catchphrases.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know how kanji work, so it's lost on me.
Yeah, it's 4 character catchphrases. Though by the second one he says, he already did 3, so they already kind of were like, "Oh, is that?" Because like they made a mention about it.
There was one
Kohinata
specific
mentioned
time
it.
where they called him out on it, but then there was like a later episode, it was like 11 or 12 episode or something like that.
Yeah.
When he just goes on a tirade and he gets like a full minute of just rattling them off.
Yeah, but then there are also like, weren't there some weird ones in there? Because there were a couple weird ones. There's one about like family and stuff.
I don't know. I couldn't read them because they were going by so fast.
Yeah, mine had it subtitled, all of them, and gave their meaning and stuff.
Well, yeah, so did mine, but because he was saying them so fast, they were not on screen long enough for me to read them, especially because, I mean, I'll be honest, it was
you just
white.
need to build up your reading speed.
I am a fast reader, dude. This was really fast, plus it was white text on a white background. That ain't easy, Chief.
I was doing it.
Well, you know what, bud? I didn't ask.
Yeah, I know. I just like to let you know. So, you don't have to ask. Don't worry, dog. You never have to ask.
I can't be mean on this podcast, because if I'm drunk, I just start laughing after.
That's true. That's true.
I'm not even that drunk. I've barely had anything. I'm fine.
Yeah? Okay. Well, then start talking about episode 2.
Oh, crap. There's the first match, and they're doing this to prove their worth to their sponsor. Their sponsor, this guy's like, "Hey, I found a sponsor for you." And they're like, "It's this person." I don't remember what it was called. And then Heath was like, "No, please." Because it turns out it's Heath's sister's fashion brand.
Wait a second. Wait, no. That's not how it went down.
Oh, no, okay.
Because he came in. No, this is important. Because he came in and was like, "Hey, we need a sponsor. We don't have a sponsor. Who can we get to sponsor?" And they're like, "Well, what about our old sponsor?" Then he was like, "Nope, they've already signed with another school, and you know the rule: only one school per sponsor. But a school can have as many sponsors as they want."
Yeah,
that made sense, right? Okay.
I know what it meant.
A sponsor can only sponsor one thing.
Yes.
But like a school can have multiple different sponsors sponsoring them.
Yes.
Okay.
There
we go. We cleared that up just to clear out any confusion.
This show is only confusion.
It's not.
No, our show is only confusion.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's the big facts.
So they have to find a new sponsor.
And so they mention, I think it was Kohinata mentions Hasakura's sister, and he's like, "No, we can't. Sorry, this ducks." And they're like, "Well, let's just go talk with her."
Is he supposed to be American? Because he and his sister both have like English names.
I don't think they were.
Because it's like Heath, and is she listed in here?
No, she's not in this character.
It was another English name, though. I'm certain of it.
Is Heath English? I've never heard a person called Heath. All I know is the Heath bar.
Ledger?
Oh, is that? So I've only known one person named Heath, and just the candy bar.
I mean, it's definitely not Japanese. There's not really a TH in Japanese, is there?
Yeah. No, there's not. It just, I never saw it. I never thought he was a thing. Oh, also he's a third year. He's not a second year. I misspoke earlier. He is a third year. Heath was a third year.
Yeah. Keep going. I'm looking into a thing.
Okay,
keep
I thought
people
you
entertained.
found it.
Diane. His sister's
God.
Diane. That's definitely not a Japanese name.
His parent, like one of his parents, or both of their parents, could be like from a different country.
Very possibly. Yeah, I'm gonna keep reading through here and see if it explains.
But with the last name Hasakura, I feel like it would only be like his mom, because like Hasakura is a very Japanese name.
The name Heath means someone who lived at, on, or by a moor or heath in Old English. His surname means support and warehouse.
All right, well there you go. I have no idea. Don't
Okay, so
ask
he's
me.
probably supposed to be like half American or half English or something like that.
Maybe, I don't know. It wasn't really that important though.
Oh, it's not important at all. I just was curious.
No. But so they go to meet his sister, and his sister's like, "Yeah, I'll do it, but on one condition: you have to model for me." And they're kind of like, "Oh no!" And she's like, "Well, that sucks because your teacher already signed the paperwork, so you guys are locked in." So they have to do modeling stuff, and that was pretty. That was good.
It was a fun sequence.
Good-
They all take
good
to it
time.
pretty well, especially Kohinata, who gets put in a dress.
Koinada doesn't like it at all because she always makes him dress up as a girl
Yeah, but it
because he
works,
looks
though.
slightly feminine.
Kohinata is the best girl. There we go.
Okay. I preferred Sakurai for best girl, but
Basic.
okay. Sakurai's great.
No, she is really good. I'll grant you that my headset's falling off.
Um,
I'm not.
we
not
will be
drink-
having
I'm
a
not
best
drink-
boy discussion, though.
I'm not drinking anymore for a while. I'm gonna go over there.
I hope you realize that we will be having a best girl discussion.
Wait, but you said best boy the first time. Which one are we doing?
Yep, that's the one. It's best boy
have-
discussion.
No idea what's going on right now.
We're gonna have a best boy discussion later, but for right now, let's continue. So like
They meet the rich boys at the end.
Yeah, Fujiwara and Yagami run away because they want to get some, or Fujiwara wants to get practice in, and Yagami's like, "Wait, don't leave me here," or something like that, right? So then he chases after him, whatever, and then they run into these three guys, these three like pretty boys. One of them is Reiji, and then there's a guy with like a bowl cut, and then there's a guy with spiky hair.
Yeah. I wish this page had the names of the opposing teams, but unfortunately it does not.
Yeah. But like it looks like it's like those two are like Reiji's like, I don't want to say butlers, but like also I don't know a better word.
I mean, the pink-haired man definitely acts like a butler. I don't know about the other guy. Maybe just like entourage.
Oh no! Oh, that's right. It was the long-haired guy, not the bowl cut guy.
Yeah, the long-haired.
There's the long-haired guy
pink-haired
and the spiky-haired blonde guy.
Yeah, the long-haired pink guy definitely takes on like a butler role because he's always like, "Oh, we'll book a trip for you just like tomorrow or something."
Yeah. And so they meet him, and when you see them, it's kind of like you get this like feeling. You're like, oh well, these guys are gonna be important. They're probably gonna do stride at a different school, right?
Mm-hmm.
The thing I really liked about these guys is that it's not like just a general like rivalry thing,
Yeah.
like because generally, okay, like he doesn't act like he's super like upper class or anything, which is nice.
They
He
have
acts,
that
like, super
air, but
friendly,
they
and
don't
he's-
like.
right, they're not actually like that. And because like there's a similar, I guess kind of similar meeting in Haikyuu. I'm gonna compare it to Haikyuu a lot because it's my favorite sports anime, right? But where they meet, where Kaguya and Hinata meet like the main guy for Shiratorizawa, and it's the whole like the whole I'll grow out of the pavement thing, that whole thing. But like he's definitely acts like he's better than them and everything, whereas this guy's just like, oh, I like stride and it's cool, I like the sport, so I can't wait to race against you guys, kind of deal.
Yeah, and
which is really
Legman
cool and
being,
refreshing.
Like, super short to them the whole time, and I'm like, dude, chill.
Yeah. Oh no, it was the bowl cut guy. It was the bowl cut guy and the long hair guy. That's the two. Because the bowl cut guy was the one who was like super. He was the one who always went up against Hasakuda. And he was like just super.
Yeah,
like
he's kind
everything.
Of
I'm gonna do it all
kind
for.
of a dick.
Well, a little bit, but
A little bit.
him and then the long haired guy was really chill.
The long-haired guy was the best. He's nice.
Yeah, and yeah, they're like, yeah, I can't wait to face off against you, and then that's kind of where the episode ends. I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
about
we
right
find
there.
out at the beginning of the next episode. We see them again, and they're not a stride team. Let me finish. They're Galaxy Standard, Japanese pop music group gang dudes.
They're an idol group.
That's the phrase.
Yep. You said to let you finish, so I let you flounder for a minute.
Please, that's the only characteristic I have going for me.
Well, be happy I'll let you do it.
Yeah, and so we get a little bit of a performance. They're on stage. They've got the, like... What's that outfit? It's, like, sleeveless or whatever for, like, a bunch of them. Or at least one of them. Pink Man had no sleeves.
I don't know. What are you talking about?
Their performance.
You want to describe something besides a sleeveless outfit?
That's literally what I was talking about. What's that? Fuck. That's what he had on. That's what the thing was. They're performing on stage.
What else did it look like?
Black.
Anything else?
No. It was a black sleeveless thing.
Was it a shirt? Was it a one piece? Was there a jacket?
It's not the One Piece anime. I don't know. They're wearing...
Was this...
I think I'm caught up on an unimportant aspect right now. Okay.
Did they have, like, tuxedos?
I don't think so. But then we get this plot twist. They're like, we finished... This is our song. We did the it. We'll see you at the race tomorrow. And it turns out they are a stride group and an idol group. They're a stridal group. That's what I'm calling them.
Ooh, I don't know if that's gonna be the best.
Wait, does that mean something? I hope not.
Not at all.
It's
just very close to. It's just very close to straddle, which is not my favorite word.
But it turns out they go to high school and do pop music and do the run game.
They're on their school stride team.
Yeah, there's Saisei? Why didn't you say it's
I think
Saisei?
so. I think it's Saisei, yeah.
Yeah, and they go to talk to the Honen people, and then Shogi Boy is like, yo, y'all are them. You're the dudes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay, all right. Them's the Honen dudes.
I think this is also the episode where they introduce the catchphrase police.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because every time that Kodawaki is about to say like the name of like a race or something, Fujiwara just jumps in and says it. Mm-hmm. And then Kodawaki turns into the catchphrase police. It's just a giant siren with glasses. Or it's a siren for a head and then glasses. It's great. It's great.
It is really good.
And they keep it. My favorite part about that gag too, especially like at the beginning, is they keep it even after like the gag screen is over. You can still see Kadawaki in the suit, like holding back Fujiwara. It is great. It's like such really good attention to detail. Yeah.
So it ends up that they're going to be running against each other for like this like unofficial race or whatever, semi-official. It's like a low-level race.
Yeah, it's like an official race, but it's not. It doesn't count towards end of summer.
Yeah, and so they have everybody line up in order. And I made a note. I really liked what they did with the framing here, because they're like showing each segment of race. They're like going over the map as the two characters, the two people who are going to be racing each other in each segment, talk to each other. But they're often little frames in the corner, like a freaking like a Zoom call, like we are on the YouTube upload or whatever. It's just like a little box that each of them are in while they talk to each other. But they use that space really creatively. The first two play it like super straight, but then the characters will start like actually physically moving their boundaries around. Like Shogi Boy is up against a really talkative fella. I think it's Shogi Boy at least.
Yeah. It was.
And his frame, the other guy's frame keeps getting bigger and bigger, and Shogi Boy is trying to like push it back into place so he doesn't get crushed.
Yeah.
That was really good. They did that really well.
They did. They did it really well. It was always super fun to like look at whenever like this kind of this goes into something I wanted to talk about too, just real quick, but it's like the aesthetic of the entire show is so well done and like well maintained. Like even when they do these like one-off things like that, or like with the catchphrase police and stuff, like it's still everything feels cohesive, and it also always looks good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's definitely. Most of the race, I feel like there's not that much worth bringing up except for Shogi Boy's segment. He's like falling really behind, and there had been a setup earlier that he's not good with gimmicks, which gimmicks are like what the obstacles are called.
Yeah.
Because like in a previous race, he like put his hand on and ran around it, which is like really slow.
Yep.
But in this one, he's like losing really badly, and he's like, "No, I have to try hard," and he goes for like a really risky shortcut jump. And he just fucking dies.
Yeah, he jumps through a tree.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine what you're supposed to do is grab onto the branch to like kind of stop some of the momentum, and then you swing off the branch to land on the road, and you continue running.
Yeah, that or like stair strap across the branches or something.
Yeah, something like that. But no, he just takes it, and then he walks up or stands up, and he's about to die. Like, but he's gonna make it to the end.
Mm-hmm. And is barely
then,
able to tap out to the next guy, and they're super far behind.
Yeah, they're not crazy far behind because he took that shortcut. He was able to make up some of the time.
Yeah, but barely. The last like one or two legs of the race, I forget exactly what position he was in. They still had to do like a lot of effort to catch back up.
Yeah, but like also, if he hadn't have done that shortcut, they would have been even farther behind.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm pretty sure. So it's not like he did it for nothing.
Yeah, and when it ends, there's only a half-second difference. It was really close.
Yeah. And Kohinata is the one he handed off to, and I think Kohinata wasn't the anchor here. No, because Kohinata.
Fujiwara's been the anchor for like almost all of it.
But I'm trying to think, because I think Kohinata might have been the anchor, because.
I don't think Kohinata was the anchor.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure Kohinata was earlier on. Like I think.
Because
I think.
Well, no, I know for a fact.
Like the whole show.
Maybe, but I know for a fact Kohinata. I'm almost positive Kohinata crossed the finish line and then immediately, or no, he must have just handed off, because as soon as he finished his segment, he immediately just ran back to where Kawaki was.
Yeah, so he handed off to
check on
Kohinata,
him.
but Kohinata was not last, I don't think.
Yeah, it was probably Fujiwara most likely.
He may have handed off to Fujiwara. He could have been anchor. I don't remember. I don't think it's important, but you are right. The important part is that he immediately runs back around to go check on Shogi Boy.
Yeah. And then Kawaki is in the hospital with some pretty serious injuries.
Mm-hmm.
So they need to find.
I think what they said is he broke his clavicle.
Yeah, I think so.
So.
That's a serious injury. I know a guy who did that back in high school.
That's like
bad.
Up like front of your.
That's your collarbone.
Yeah, that's really.
Yeah, that's your collarbone. Yeah, it's also really easy to break it.
I'll take your word for it. I've never done it.
It's a very like fragile bone.
Well, maybe if you didn't play a game like football where you just smash into people.
I didn't break mine. Somebody else did.
I just wanted to take a shot at football. Okay.
Yeah, you're never gonna take a shot of football around me.
But then they're like, "Oh no, we lost. Back. We don't get the sponsor," and the sponsor's like, "Ha ha ha! Y'all are gonna make me money."
Yeah. Well, she's like, "Haha, that was my rival, and I'm not gonna ever look bad like that again. So I can't give up on you guys because that'll make me look even worse. Mm-hmm. So I made a whole new brand for you guys,
and it's a really good brand name. I really like it.
Yeah, Run Rudy. It's great. I love it so much, and it's also like really nice gear and stuff too.
It's like a bright white outfit. I don't dig it. I'm not a fan of white outfits, but like, smooth. No, I remember I was like, dude, what if they made it like a bright like nature green, and then literally the next episode they race against a green team, and I'm like, yes, that looks good. I like theirs.
That was the worst one.
No, dude, that green was so good. The green and black, I loved it.
Nature green is bad.
You're wrong.
On sports teams. No, I'm not. No.
Green's good.
Nature green is not a sports color.
They're making their way to the next match. And we get this whole dialogue about food. Because, like, Legman has, like, only white meats and rice. And he's like, you gotta load up on all the protein because it has this much calorie, this much energy, blah, blah,
Nope.
blah, blah, and just rambles.
There was no rice in his.
Oh, I thought
He had
Okay.
white meat and egg whites.
Was that what it was?
Because egg whites are, like, almost only protein.
Either way, he's, like, super particular about it. Because, like, we see him do the same thing later. He'll take meats and then just, like, put protein powder on it. And it's like, dude.
Yeah.
Chill.
And progressively in their club room, he's making pyramids of protein powder. And as the show goes on, the pyramid gets bigger and bigger.
Is that what... I did notice the pyramid at, like, the very end when it was, like, bigger than the table. But I didn't realize it'd been building the whole time. That's amazing.
Yeah, it'd been building the whole time, and it's all tubs of protein, and it's great. I love it so much.
That's great. Either way, Katawaki is out of commission, but there's another race coming up. So they're like, okay, so what about...
We need to find a fifth member.
What about those dudes that were in the cool video? I saw tall pink hair man is still around the school. Let's go talk to him. So they sneak off. Well, they don't tell the rest of the club they're doing that. So, like, Legman, Sakurai, and Yagami, I think, go off to talk to Purple Man.
Also, he had already talked to... this long-haired guy had already talked to Yagami before. So Kuga, or Kyosuke Kuga, had already talked to Yagami before, telling him about, like, running when the wind is blowing.
It just rambles about wind. That's like Kuga's thing, is like, or Kyosuke. I keep calling him Kuga, but Kyosuke is what, like, he's, like, known as most of the time.
Yeah, that's why I was confused, because they always called him Kyosuke.
He was introduced as Kuga the first few times, so that's what's stuck in my head. But Kyosuke, giant, tall, elegant man, is like, rambles about the wind, and they go to ask him to join, and he says he doesn't have the right to do stride.
Yep.
And then just bikes off.
Yep, on a motorbike, not a bicycle.
Yeah, so he just vroom vrooms.
And it's important because that's cool.
Okay, you've got me with that one, I suppose. So they go back to the club room.
Okay. Yeah.
And they're like, we talked to this guy and he wouldn't join. And Heath is like, wait, you talked to Kyosuke? What did he say?
Yeah.
And we also find out that Heath's foot is messed up because Koinada comments on it.
Yep.
And there had previously been a reference to something that they called, like, the
KGB.
Which, isn't that like a Russia thing?
Yeah, wasn't it the Russian police that would just kill people?
Yeah, I wondered why that sounded familiar.
Yeah. I'm almost positive that's what that was.
But they tried
or
to
Soviet Union police or whatever.
They tried to explain it in one of the few early episodes, and I sent you a screenshot of this because I absolutely loved it. Freaking Koinada pops in with the Catboy punch.
Yeah.
To stop him talking about it.
Uh-huh.
It was the dumbest thing ever. But
it was great.
So good.
Yep. Let me see if I can find that image that you sent. It shouldn't be back that far.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that far out. It was yesterday. But it was really good.
God, we've sent a lot of messages in between then.
There
it is.
No. So we know
that
it's
the Ninja Cat Paw Hell Stab.
Yes. And just dunks on Shogi Boy.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it's clear there was some sort of thing in the past involving Kyosuke and Heath, at least, but we don't know what it is yet. We don't know what happened.
Yeah.
It's this episode and, like, the next one, I think? No, it's this episode where we find out exactly what was going on, because they have to go talk to Shogi Boy while he's in the hospital. And they, like, break down the actual past. Because Koinada is like, look, I will not run with Kyosuke.
Yeah. And before we get there, we're going to leave you guys on a cliffhanger while we take our break.
Yeah, I knew we needed to do that soon, but I didn't know when, so I was kind of just hoping you'd cut it off at some point.
It seemed like a pretty good spot.
Yeah, that's fair. We've made some good progress for once, so yeah.
Yep.
Look forward to the second half of episode 23. This is 23. I don't think we said that. This is episode 23.
Yeah, I never know what episode we're on, so.
I only know that because I've tried to upload episode... Wait, no. Wait, is this 24? Because I've been trying to upload 22, like,
then, yeah,
3
this is
times
24.
at this point, which means you have 23, which means this is 24.
Yep.
I can do basic math.
Can you?
No.
We'll go back to part 2 of A Shot of Weeb, episode 24, where we're talking about a Prince of Stride alternative.
Did you just forget it?
I had to like cough through after that. Oh man, that was weird. All right, well, that's the intro. I need a drink after that little bit.
Yeah,
Let me clear up
we've
my throat.
been on one heck of a journey on our mid-break. We learned geography.
Yeah, my favorite subject from school.
Hey, geography's fun. I was good. Oh, I didn't spill it. We're good.
Kampai. Oh man.
Oh, I felt like that went on my nose. That burned the back of my nose. Bad feeling.
Well, you should drink through your mouth.
Also, I always leave a little bit behind. Why can I never go all at once?
I don't know. I have no idea why you can't finish.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, we left it on a cliffhanger
About whether or not Kyosuke would join.
Yep. So what does he do?
Did I just take like all of the wind out of your sails? You just froze.
I was kind of giving it to you, and then you just stopped.
Oh, I didn't realize that was a pass off. I thought I was interrupting. So they're like, "Oi, Kyosuke, run," and he says no, and then they go and talk to Koinada, and they're like, "Hey, we want Kyosuke to run," and he says no, and then Heath is like, "Wait, he didn't start the fire."
Oh, don't get his copyright straightened with a terrible
My
song,
terrible
please.
voicing is not going to get us copyrighted. I forgot to start more incense, so I'm going to light one while we talk. I hope y'all don't mind.
Oh, great! He's lighting up on the show.
Yo.
Great. Now we're gonna get a copyright strike and age restricted.
We already market is
man.
not for kids. Whatever.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean age restricted.
I don't know. You know what? I'm pretty sure burning a stick of incense isn't going to get YouTube jumping down our throats. So, like...
I wouldn't put it past them.
That'd be kind of hilarious, actually. Let's see them do it.
Well, just the fact that I said lighten one up.
Wait, would that seriously go as far? There's no way.
I don't know, dude. It's YouTube, bro.
So basically... yeah, we get more entrance about the incident, which apparently it stood for Kuga Berserk, is what the letters were.
Yeah. Yeah, the KGB.
Yeah, basically. I'm going to let you take over because I got to lean away from the mic for a moment.
Yeah, so basically they were running a race, and I think it was the relationer had given... was being caught up in the other relationer's relationing.
He bluffed him. He hard bluffed him.
Yeah. Him. He got a hard bluff, and then it caused. Then he told Heath to. So Heath was running, and Kyosuke was catching up, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then he kind of told Heath, you got to do something. I don't remember exactly what it was though.
I don't recall the specifics, but it turned into them crashing into each other really bad. Or no, they were going to, and Heath twisted to avoid it.
Yeah, Heath twisted his ankle to stop it, but it was almost a break.
It was real bad. It looked awful.
Yeah, it was really bad. Yeah, and because he wasn't able to make the handoff, they were disqualified. Right then, because he crashed and wasn't able to get back up because I think you have to be standing in order to give the handoff.
Yeah, I don't know the specifics on that.
That seemed to be kind of what it meant. I think that's why Katawaki was like making sure he stayed up the entire time, like after until he handed it off. I think in his big thing, but so Heath broke his ankle basically, and then the relationer was super pissed, like saying it was Heath's fault that he wasn't actually hurt, and he was just trying to make him look bad, and then he stomped on Heath's ankle.
I was so angry. Like, I know this is anime, this is fake characters, but I'm like, no, you don't just do that. Oh, I was furious.
Oh no, I would have no. If I was Kyosuke in that situation, I would have gone berserk on that guy.
Yeah,
I would have just
surprised
let one loose.
I'm surprised that's not where the fight started, because I'll be honest, I got kind of lost as to where the fight started if it wasn't that.
No, that was it.
Oh, that was it?
That was the fight. That was the fight. Is when is the relationer being pissed off at Heath.
Oh yeah, and stomping on the
and
foot.
then they pulled him away and like take him out of the situation like some other third years, and that's when Kohinata shows up, and then it looks like that Kyosuke was the one who did it to him. By the way, they're all standing and stuff, and then Kyosuke takes the blame for it all to save the Stride Club, because if it was more than just like one member who had caused an issue.
Yeah, because there was one person alongside the relationer that was like instigating.
Yeah, and it would have been like a real problem. Or no, I think Kyosuke stood up for Heath. I think that's what it was. I think that's and then that's when the relationer guy was like, "Oh no, he's not even really hurt. Watch," and like stomps on his ankle.
Oh yeah, because there were two people do end up like going after Kyosuke. Because I remember there is a shot of Kyosuke and like two dudes.
Yeah. And then then Kyosuke takes all the blame to save the Stride Club. All the other third years basically drop out. They were already pissed because they were second years who were starting and like taking third years positions and stuff. And because also this is when Tomoe Yagami, who is Riku's brother, was racing with them. No, it's not a spoiler. Like it's anyways, he was racing with them, and so like they were all pissed that these three were getting starting positions out of the 5 people who could start.
Yeah.
Instead of third years and stuff. And so there was already like anger building up then, and then eventually it turned into like this. Everybody just left the Stride Club, and there wasn't enough people to do it anymore.
Yeah,
because that was the only real KGB incident.
The only people that wound up left were Heath and Koinada, and then they roped in Katawaki so that it didn't get shut down.
Yeah. Yes. And that was the KGB incident, and so then Kohinada's like, all right, well, I guess we can try to have Kyosuke. He still wasn't fully accepting of him, though, which I liked.
Yeah.
You know, because, like, they mentioned it in the show, too, that, like, it's hard to just overcome something like that immediately.
Yeah, because, like, also the other thing is, like, one of the big points that a lot of Sakurai's dialogue points to when the relationers are talking to each other is that... sorry, apologies. Is that like you need all of the people to like emotionally bond with each other to like understand the feeling of wanting to win, or like to be on the same wavelength as people. I'm doing that thing where I'm sinking closer and closer to my desk.
You got a lot of headspace right now.
Too bad.
Whatever, it's fine.
If I had a chair I trusted more, I would lean back. But I've already broken the last 2, one of which I did on camera.
That's true.
Wait, no, never mind. It was in our mid-break. I was so sad. Like, I wish we'd have had the footage of that.
It wasn't a mid-break. Yeah.
It's currently, it's sitting right over there. The other ones.
Oh, I thought you
I haven't thrown either of them away. So that one is like right over there. And then the one that I had in college that also broke in exactly the same way is currently in my closet.
Why have you not thrown them out?
I don't know how to do that. I don't have a car to like go scrap it or whatever. What am I supposed to do? Walk it over to my former job that I have now quit and just chuck it in the dumpster?
You just put it out with the rest of the trash.
No, they won't take that. Also, we don't do it's an apartment complex. They have bins out back, like rolly bins. So what am I supposed to do? Just set a chair out there and hope they take it? They won't take it.
No, you throw it. You go out there at the beginning, right? The day after they take the trash, or the day of, and you just throw it in there, and then everybody else has to deal with it.
No, those aren't dumpsters. Those are like bins, like barely the size of me. I can't chuck a chair in
Yeah.
that.
Your chairs are in pieces. You're fine.
No, they're not. They're still mostly together. Do you want me to go pull my chair into frame?
Not really, no. Just break it into pieces.
Okay, so it's not ping pong yet. We're not to the ping pong. We're the pink team? No.
No.
They got Kuga in on it. They got Kyosuke in on it. He agrees to join because he and Heath have a heart-to-heart, and Heath is like, you saved the club and I took you for granted. I won't do that again. Please run with us because we literally can't race otherwise.
Yeah.
I hope that sentence made sense. I got kind of lost there.
It made sense to me, yeah. I got it.
But he shows up, he's like, I'll join, and they are like happy, and then episode ends because the race happens next episode, doesn't it? Or am I wrong? Or did I just write notes during the race? I don't actually remember.
I think the race was in the next episode.
Yes.
Because that was, yeah.
Yeah, hold on, that's right, because I have like 2 notes on the next episode because I was too busy actually watching the race to write anything.
Yeah, the next episode was the race because it has the team with the guy with the dual colored hair and pigtails.
Yeah, this is... Wait, isn't that the next one? I thought this was Green Team. Wait, no, Green Team is the one where he gets injured, isn't it? It's the one where Shogi Boy gets injured because he has that whole rant about his sister.
I don't remember a real green team.
Oh wait, yeah, no, because they fight Galstan in episode 3, and then they race the Green Team in 4, and that's when Shogi Boy hurts himself. And then in 6, which is where we are now, is when they race against the Pink Team, which has the dual colored hair that I thought was a girl.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's this race. That's episode 6, is just that race. The only note that I have is at the very beginning when I said they're all acting like dicks. And then the second note is at the very end when I said, oh, I zoned out and just watched the race. It was good, though.
Yeah, it was a pretty good race. It's hard to really talk about a lot of the race.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I mean, a lot of it honestly gets glazed over. Like, if there's nothing really important, if there's no, like, important dialogue happening during the race, it just gets breezed over, which is fine, honestly. I'm okay with that completely.
No, when you're watching the show, like, just having action sequences is fine. Not everything has to be, like, big brain, gotta discuss it.
Well, I mean, there is also a lot of that, too, though, because, like, we get a lot of sequences in the Relationers booth where we hear both of the Relationers discussing to their team or, like, shit-talking each other.
Yep.
And occasionally trying to bluff.
No, like, I'm not saying it's bad to have either. It's good to have both, I think.
This show had a really good balance of it. Like, I feel like they easily could have made the races drag on way too much by just showing a whole bunch of race that didn't need to be shown. They balanced it really well.
Yeah. And
did they win this race? I don't actually remember. I think they do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they won this race because this was like this was the race. It wasn't the time trial, but it was like the if they didn't win this race, they couldn't race an end of summer, which is the big competition for Stride.
Yeah, EOS is the big one. And I think...
And, yeah, they win this race.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, because they didn't win the Galstan race, and they didn't win the green race, I don't think, because Shogi Boy hurt himself.
Yeah, no, they didn't win that race, no.
But they did win against the pink team. And there was probably a big character development. I don't remember what it is. I didn't write it down. No, because I was too busy zoning out watching the run. This was just really cool. I liked it.
No, yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
No, I'm saying it's a bad
keep,
thing.
Like, attacking me.
Because unlike you, I write notes.
Yeah, just use your thinker. Use your
I don't
noggin.
have a thinker. Head empty, thoughts none. That's not the line.
Yeah, it's head empty, no thoughts. No thoughts, head empty.
No thoughts,
actually.
head empty. There we go.
Oh my god. Yeah, you really don't. You proved it. Yeah. So then we get So if you don't mind, I would like to go to the next episode.
Yeah, go ahead. I lingered way
'Cause
too long on that.
This is my favorite episode.
Yeah, this is a really good one. This is a good one.
Because this is the joint practice. And I love joint practices, especially with teams that get along with each other. Like, again, I said it earlier. I'm going to talk about Haikyuu a little bit in this episode.
Oh.
But there's like a thing where Karasuno goes to Tokyo and they practice with 4 other teams, I believe. One of them being Nekoma, my personal favorite, my favorite character, Kenma. Kenma Kozme is the best. Love that guy. Anyways, but they're also practicing with like Fukurodani. That's the main 2 I remember is Fukurodani and Nekoma, but there's 2 others I know. And it's like the energy that you get from a joint practice is so much different than just a regular practice, and it's so fun.
Yeah.
And with this one, so they go to Saisei, which Saisei, obviously, they got money.
They're the rich boys.
They got a little bit of change. But also, I think part of that is because they're idols, so they're going to get a lot of money, and they probably put a lot of that money back into Stride.
Yeah, so like the school is already a rich school, I think, and then Galstan obviously makes a ton of money aside. So...
Yeah. And so having all that is great. It's
with the exception
and
of just the guy with red hair from Galstan. I love the Galstan crew. Like Honen and Saisei have like a great rapport with each other. I love it.
I like all of the characters from both, honestly.
Well, no.
Even that guy you don't like, because
I mean, I get
he's not like
he's supposed to be like the
like
foil to Fujiwara, but like I don't jive with it.
I love his dynamic with Heath though. Their dynamic is so good.
Oh wait, yeah, that's right. He beefs with Heath, not Fujiwara. Not Lady.
Yeah, he doesn't beef. Fujiwara is with Reiji.
Yeah,
because they're both the anchor.
Yeah. Sorry, he beefs with Heath, and I'm just like, dude, chill. The rest of your team is cool.
It's great, though.
No, the best Galstan boy is either the butler who's the relationer, because he's just a lovely man. But there's also the little green-haired kid that is like, he super simps for Kyosuke, and it's so funny.
Yeah.
And Ban.
Well, that's the thing,
Ban
right?
is great. I actually remember his name. He's just Galstan's version of Koinada.
Banshan. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm geeking out.
But they have another version of Kyohinata too.
Yeah, there's 2 of them.
But okay, well here's the thing. You mentioned the whole simping thing. Oh, we're banned. Oops.
We're not on Twitch, we're good.
Anyways, you mentioned the whole tier 3 subbing thing. And easily the bowl cut guy that you hate, he just simps for Reiji.
Okay, yeah.
That's it. That's all he's doing.
That's not wrong,
He's just
like,
simping for Reiji.
I must do well so that Seiji can win. But it's not the same kind of... This is more like a really serious, I'm going to screw over everyone else. Whereas the green-haired kid is just like, Yosuke's the best and I want him to notice me.
Yeah, but he wants him to notice him by winning, by beating him. But also, he doesn't want to screw everybody else over.
Yeah.
He just wants to beat them. He's not like... That's the thing I really like, too, is that like they easily could have had him as a character who uses like shady tactics, but they don't.
Can I just say that's something that I really, really liked is that there were no shady tactics at any point, except for like maybe you want to count the guy that would like run up on obstacles and then duck out of the way, but that's still completely over the table. Like
that's not a shady tactic.
Nothing. Really,
I wouldn't call that a shady tactic.
That was the shadiest thing that happened in a race. Like I really appreciate that everything is completely like on par.
Yeah, it's all above the board, and
that's the phrase I was looking for.
And like nothing ever feels like it's like they're trying to just what's the word? Oh,
we don't have freaking.
Okay, we don't have the words, so they're not trying to screw over the other team.
We don't have Keijo's...
They want to beat
We don't
them.
have Keijo's forbidden titty hypnosis.
Well, not that. Not even that. Like, again, going back to Haikyuu.
Talk about a show I've seen.
We'll watch Haikyuu, and then you'll have seen it. In Haikyuu, there's these OVAs before season 4, like with season 4, they came out with episode 1 for Nekoma, right? Nekoma's playing this game, and there's this one team, and they're like snakes or whatever, and I hate this team. One, because they're trying to beat Nekoma, which is already a sin in my book, but two, the way they're trying to do it is not like above the board at all. They're like try to hide the ball from the like referees, so then the referees can't tell for sure if it went out of bounds or not, and things like that. I hated it so much.
Yeah, because like I'll be real, I was worried at some point they'd be like in a tunnel or otherwise out of sight, and one of them would just like shove the other or something. I was so worried they'd do that, and they never did. They didn't.
No, like there was a little bit where they were kind of like shoving each other a little bit, but it was clearly not like malicious.
Yeah, no, they do bump into each other once or twice, but nothing severe.
That's just kind of what it's blocking. I mean,
yeah,
that's totally fair. Yeah, no, and it's one of the things I really like about this is everybody like respects the sport. That's the best way to put it, I think.
Yeah,
and
I really appreciate that.
A lot of times they do have a team that doesn't really respect it as much, you know, and I don't respect them when they do that.
So after that ramble, we were in the group training bit, where Galstan and Honan, like technically I should be calling them Saisei when they're not performing, but I'm going to be calling them Galstan, I'm sorry. When Galstan and Honan are hanging out, and it's just so good. It's just really good. They have a really good, because there's also, I don't remember his name, but there's one guy who hangs out with Yagami a lot, and like, he's actually doing his best to help Yagami get better, even though he's on a rival team. And I'm just like, you are good. I like you.
Well, that's what a good rival does, I think, at least.
Yeah, because he's also the one who keeps talking about
they
the
want to
salty
play against. Yeah, like I feel like at least when I when I picture a rival, I want it to be somebody, you know, who like you can do your best against, and so like. If there's some area you notice they're struggling in, I mean, I would help them out. I'd be like, hey, look, this is something you can do to help, you know. Like, if they're asking for it. If they're not asking for it, I'm not just be like, hey, this is how you can be better. Just make you
no,
you
it's also
asshole.
it's a matter of, like, how you approach it. It's like, even if they don't ask for it, you could be like, hey, I see ways that you could improve. Would you like advice? Something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Like, they're both talking about their running. And he's like, hey, I've noticed this thing you kind of do when you like hunch over, and I think if you stand up straight, you'll be able to get more air in your lungs, and then you won't be as gassed by the end because you're always super gassed at the end. And it's great. I mean, like, and then it's kind of the same thing too with like Sakurai and the long-haired guy, because the long-haired guy's their relation.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of like he's like teaching her like more tips for relationship.
Those two are so
and then
lovely.
in their match,
like seeing those two interact
like
is
I'm gonna
lovely.
skip ahead. Yeah. It's great. I'd say I'm going to skip ahead just slightly here, but like when they rematch again,
yeah, because they end up racing against Galstan like 3 times in this series.
I think it's only 2.
Well, no, because they race.
Pretty sure it's only twice.
They race. Okay, I think I might be counting the training episode because they do race at the end of this episode.
Yeah, I'm not counting the training camp.
Okay, because they have the race in the early trials. They have the race in the training camp. If you count that, because they do a race like in the place, and then they race again at the time trial, before they go up.
Yeah.
Actually, no, sorry, not during the time trial. The time trial is against Kekyoin. They race against Kekyoin, and then Galstan one more time, and then Kekyoin again for the final.
Yeah. Yeah, and then so they only really race against him once. I'm not counting their practice as a race.
They do have a practice.
Their final
they do
race
have a
against
practice
each other.
race, yeah. But I think it's worth bringing up.
The environment's different. They know that course a lot better. And
Honan still got dunked on though.
Well, yeah, but in their race, like when they're up in the booth, when it's just him and Sakurai, she's like, I'm going to use everything you taught me, and he's like, oh, awesome! I can't wait to play against you.
It's so good. They're so really good to each other.
It's really great. Yep. And like clearly, like they're rivals. I love how everybody has a rival on Saisei, or not Saisei. Yeah, that's the team name. Yeah.
Yeah, Galstan is Saisei.
Yeah. I love how they all have like rivals for each member of the teams. It's
They're
great.
like very clearly
so good.
paired off.
Yeah, and it's not even like it's not even like swept under the rug or like they don't try to minimize that. It's just clearly
I
this
think
is who
honestly,
we're up against.
so like there's already a lot of really good pairs. Like I talked about how Yagami and his buddy are like so good because they're trying to better each other. But there's also just really fun dynamics where Banchan and Koinada are just having fun.
Well, Banchan is not. Or yeah, Banchan is the white is the. Banchan's the blonde.
He's the excitable blonde one. Yeah, he's just Koinada but Saisei. Yeah. And they just go out and they hop over things and they have a good time and then laugh with each other. And it's so good.
I say Bon will like go and just attack Koinada and stuff, like tackle him, and it's great.
It's so
oh man,
cute.
It's so good.
They're so good together. And then there's also like,
and then Reiji and Fujiwara's relationship is great.
I think this was at the later race, like after the time trial, like in end of summer. But they have one bit where Banchan is just like, if you come with me, we'll have some fun. And he's just, and the other guy repeats the tune. He's like, what is this, Beethoven? I'm just like, okay, I love you too. You're so good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's Beethoven's fifth. And like he did, but the thing is he did it first. He also like, he repeated it first and then he was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Bon and Koinada are so fun to watch. I love them.
Yeah. And also one of my also favorite things, especially with like, because you don't get to see it as much with the other teams, but you do some. But especially with like Saisei, the way they run is like their personality.
Oh yeah.
Like with that guy, with Bond's thing, his whole thing, he just wants to have fun, and so
he's showy. He's very showy.
So like he's very showy, but like the relation is like, at one point he almost is like, hey, go do this, but then he's like, wait, and he stops himself and he's just like, just go have fun.
Yeah, and that helps him win the segment because he knows full well what that means. Just do what you do.
Yeah. Yeah, just have fun and you'll win.
Oh, it's so good.
Like that's all you got to do. But it was close too because Sakura was like, look, she knew how Kohinata ran. It's like, Kohinata, you just keep going straight. Don't even worry about him. You're fine. You can do your trick. You'll have a big trick at the end, basically. And then he leapt from like two stories.
The mid-air clap was so cool.
Yeah, it was so cool. Love that stuff.
We're talking about a race that hasn't happened yet. Let's get back on to 7. After they do like all of their training in the practice race, they go and play ping pong. They do like Galstan versus Honen in ping pong. Yeah. But they don't have any prizes to give, so instead they do a punishment game for the loser, and they're like, you're going to have to karaoke. But like I've noticed that in anime that if you lose and do karaoke, it's supposed to be like really cringy folky stuff or whatever.
Yeah, they got to choose the song.
Because they had like the fish dance in Girls and Panzers, so it's like a thing.
Yeah. I don't think it's that big of a thing. But
I don't know. It's a thing I've seen in multiple shows at this point, so.
But that one bit in particular was great because they teamed up, so it was Fujiwara and Yagami, and then it was the Reiji and
I don't remember
whoever it is that I know you don't remember the name, but it's whoever like Rei or Yagami's like rival is.
Oh, Yagami's buddy.
I'm pretty
okay.
Sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was those two that they go up against, and like those two are really good, and Fujiwara is also really good. But Yagami is terrible, and he just hits Fujiwara in the face every time.
They keep being like really impressed though, because he's catching really hard hits and then just sending it into Legman's face.
Yeah, it's a nice callback to episode 1.
This show does its callbacks well,
but like it does its callbacks really well. And then they end up having to do the punishment game. And Fujiwara's like, and Yagami's like, look, we have to do it. Look, we lost. Fujiwara's like, we? Who's we?
Yeah. And then they all...
Because he was the only one doing anything.
It's really good. And then they all go light fireworks on the beach. And there's like 2 things that happen here. Only one thing actually happens here, but there's one I'd like to bring up anyway. We get the first of... Maybe not the first, but like this is the first time I picked up on it. Legman keeps seeing the other racers as children, and I'm like, this is kind of weird, but okay, I guess.
I think this was the first time.
Yeah, because he sees Yagami and Sakurai as kids, and himself multiple times. I'm like, okay, this is weird. What's up with this?
Yeah.
But then they all end up. There's one bit where they all end up jumping in the ocean, and so all of them are like taking their shirts off to jump into the ocean, except Sakurai, obviously. But then we get a shot of all of them in the water, and there's such a mood here. Shogi Boy joined them in the ocean, but he's still got his button up on, and I'm like, dude, same. That's such a minor point, but I get that. I get that.
Yeah. Oh, and there's a moment before as well when they're eating dinner, and like they're eating food,
dude,
and then
yeah.
you know, and Fujiwara does this normal thing where he starts pouring protein powder on his rice, and they're all like, "What are you doing?" And then the long-haired relationer comes in and is like, "Hey, no, our chef prepares all our food and like it's all nutritionally balanced, just fine." And Fujiwara's like, well, according to my calculations, this is teriyaki chicken, which has about 300 kilocalories and only about like 25 grams of protein. And then the rest of the stuff is mainly like vegetables and carbs, so it doesn't really have a lot of protein in it totally. And then this is when the guy claps back and he's like, actually, the teriyaki chicken has extra protein added into it,
He claps
and
back
as
with
well as
facts
the other
and
dishes
logic.
have some other proteins. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, no, they have this wonderful back and forth, and everyone else is just like, yay, food.
Yeah. Everybody else is like, okay, this tastes good. I don't care. Well, no. Actually, Heath is like, oh, there's extra protein in this. Like, he pauses when he first hears that, which is hilarious.
No, but they go for it. Like,
Such a good small little moment. Oh, yeah, no.
yeah, and they do the same thing later. I think this might actually be the same episode in the beach, but they start grilling stuff over, like, the open fire, I think. This may have been a different segment. I don't remember, but they're, like, grilling meat or something, and they hand some over Legman has covered a skewer of meat with protein powder, as he does, and offers it to Reiji, and Reiji's just like, yeah, you're chill, and takes it, and I'm just like, dude.
Yeah.
It's so...
No, there's another moment, too. This is like an after credits scene. There's a couple of these. I don't know if you saw them.
Oh, actually, no, I would have missed those, because I'll be completely real. I skipped most of the endings. Except for the ones where...
We'll discuss that.
A lot of the ones that did have extra credit scenes actually didn't use the normal ED. So any of the ones that...
No, that's not what I mean by extra credits. After credits scene.
Oh, so you mean like during the credits. Okay, yeah, I would have seen those.
No, I mean after the credits.
Were they an episode?
So this only happened on the regular credits.
So they were ones that happened with a regular ED?
Yeah.
Okay, I missed those then, because I did usually skip the ED unless I was doing something special.
So there's one. This does happen a little later, but like it's fine. This is the best place to talk about, I think. What's his name? Like Yagami's friend from Saisei had bought like a bunch of yakisoba bread, right? And he was taking it back to Reiji because Reiji wanted to try a local delicacy or whatever, and that was mentioned in the episode. And the after credits scene, you see him eating one like with the team, and the relationer comes over and is like, how many of those have you had? And he puts up his fingers like slowly. It's like 3, and the guy's like, you're only allowed 2 of those per meal, no matter how good they taste. It's not a lot of extra. It's not a lot of protein. It's mainly just carbs. And then he looks over and we see Reiji slowly turn around with one halfway in his mouth, and he just slowly holds up 4 in his hands. It was great.
That's amazing. Yeah,
so
I would have missed
good.
that.
Yeah, you should go back and check out all of the after credits ones. It's not on every episode.
Yeah, because I thought those were just
like,
recaps. That's why I was okay skipping them.
Well, some of them are like
sorry, not recaps.
There's
I mean the
recaps on every
preview,
episode.
sorry.
Yeah. There's previews on every episode, but sometimes before the previews there'll be like a small little something. Highly recommend you go check those out.
I'm gonna have to do that. I didn't realize that. I'm a little disappointed.
Yeah. There's only a few of them. That
scene sounds excellent because they did do that in the beginning, and they have like yakisoba buns, I think is what they called them, because it's like a yakisoba bun.
Well, it's a yakisoba pan.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay, because it's like a hot dog but with noodles, basically.
Yeah, which like pan is just bread in Japanese, but like it. I know you knew. I'm just saying.
Okay.
For the audience, in case they didn't. Pan is bread in Japanese, but it was translated as bun in my translation as well. But I've heard it translated as yakisoba bread too.
I misheard it. I legitimately
just
thought they were saying a portmanteau of yakisoba and bun. So that's my bad.
Oh, okay, gotcha. No, you're all good. I want to eat. I want to try one though. I've never
Dude,
had
I
one.
want to try
That
one.
looks
I
really
want to
good.
fucking go to Japan. I've talked about this before.
Yeah, I know. We've talked about this multiple times in the podcast. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's really good.
That was most of the training episode. Like, it's my favorite episode, but
Oh, and they are actually.
I don't know if I have
the
a lot to
Yagamis
say.
family has a bakery, so it's like actually them.
yeah, they have a bakery. Yeah.
Just like,
And that's his favorite thing to eat from
just
there.
like Satania. There's a connection between the episodes we've talked about. It's not actually a connection. It's a thing that they did the same. You get the joke.
There's also in I think it's Pretty Care Splash Star. One of the two girls their parents have a bakery.
Dude, I'd love to run a bakery. I'd love to be in a bakery. It sounds lovely. Anyway,
Yeah.
we actually start end of summer. We have we hear about they're on the plane and Sakurai meets this dude who turns out to be the relationer for Kakyoin, which is the school they're going to be facing against in the time trial. And we also
Not the JoJo's character.
yeah. We also find out that even though he's relationer, he has not met a single one of the people he's going to be guiding.
Yeah.
Which Sakurai is like, what?
And at the same time, we also find out that both Sakurai's dad and Tomoe Yagami are back in Japan.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we actually found out about that the previous episodes. We heard that they were back.
Well, yeah, we found out about it before they got on the plane, but still, all of these things are happening at like the same time, basically.
And they're on their way to the time trial. We get a really good segment where Koinada attempts to, where he like mimics old kung fu movies.
Yeah.
And it's
well, because they say they say something about him like, it's like entering like a dragon or something.
Oh yeah, and that would start it.
That's a name of a movie.
Yeah.
It's a name. I believe it's a Bruce Lee movie.
I thought it was a Jackie Chan movie. I could be wrong.
I'm almost positive Enter the Dragon is Bruce Lee. I'll double check.
The two people that Koinada
people
imitates, he does a Bruce Lee impression and he does a Jackie Chan impression because he does a third one.
Yes.
I don't remember a third one. He gets the really thick eyebrows and does a bunch of punching, which is Bruce Lee, and then he does the.
Oh no, the thick eyebrows are not. That's not
it was supposed
Bruce
to be Bruce
Lee.
Lee.
No, Enter the Dragon is Bruce Lee.
The one that I recognize is he does
when he gets the really thick eyebrows and he starts punching really fast.
Or was that supposed to be Broccoli?
No. Who is Broccoli?
Isn't that the guy's name? He's from.
No, that's Rock Lee from Naruto. But no, it's not Rock Lee. Broccoli is that Twitter account. Anyways, no, he is Ken. They say it in the episode. They say no, not Ken. Ken. You don't know this one? He's very famous. He's from Fist of the North Star. He's the main character of Fist of the North Star.
I don't know enough about Fist of the North Star.
And he has massive eyebrows, and he punches and goes that.
Okay,
that.
I didn't realize that's what that was a reference to. But then
that might have been too loud.
He also does the drunken style fighting, which I think was a Jackie Chan movie. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. He does the drunken fist, which is a Jackie Chan movie. Yeah.
Either way, it's a good sequence.
Like they say Jackie Chan, they say Chan, Lee, and Ken. That's the three names they say.
Okay. Yeah.
So yes, yeah. No, he does do two of the two that you mentioned, but he just also does Ken.
But they get to the time trial and they put everybody in the lineup, and this is where we get two really big drops. The coach for Kakyoin is another Sakurai. It is the king, like Joe Sakurai or something like that.
Yep. Yeah, it was Joe Sakurai.
Yeah. And then Nana is like, the fuck is my dad doing here?
Yeah. And then they start calling her princess.
Yeah, which is a little odd because that's
princess.
Never been brought up before. Like, I feel like that's something they would have said previously if it's that big a deal.
Well, they might not have realized until then.
Yeah. And
also, this was the first official end of summer match. Mm-hmm. So they might not have, like, the other matches they went to.
Possibly.
Might not have, like, known
Yeah. And then
Though I think they did say the princess before.
if
But I think it was implied to just mean that she was like the only girl in Stride at the time, or in high school Stride
I don't know. I don't really remember.
at that level.
But then the other big drop is that the anchor for that team is the other Yagami. It is Yagami's older brother.
Tomoe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who was the other former Honen person, because Honen's big three were Heath, Kyosuke, and Tomoe.
Yep. And Tomoe had gone to America to do Stride. And I believe he probably went with Sakurai's dad, or like went under that coach or something in America, because that's where her dad went.
Yeah, possibly
to coach Stride.
Yeah.
So it's possible. It's not really like mentioned in the show, but like it wouldn't like surprise.
Yeah,
me,
and he had also mentioned,
since he is supposed to be the best.
It had also been mentioned that like when the king came back to Japan, he was like, "Hey, I've signed on for a school here. Sign on with me," to his daughter. And she's like,
Yes.
"How about no?"
Yeah. Well, no, she's conflicted at first.
Yeah, well, that's what it ends up. I skipped ahead.
Yeah, no, but like we get nice character development with her about it, like her like finding her reason for staying at Honen, which is great. You'll love to see it.
With your permission, unless you have like something really important to say, I feel like there's not much we really should spend time on during the time trial other than to say they got absolutely shredded. It was a 10-second difference.
Yeah, they had a 10-second difference. And also, the only other thing is that we see how the other racers run, and they're able to have a second burst of energy midway because they're like letting Honen catch up.
Yeah.
And it's like really messing with them, which is pretty significant because it shows Honen how much they need to improve if they want to win.
Yes, that's the thing. They do not hold a candle to Kekyoin. But then we find out the next episode that Honen still did actually pretty decent. Like, they were on par with the other two schools in End of Summer. It was literally just Kekyoin was, like, way ahead of everyone else.
Because Kakyoin was a school, or, like, was a team that was basically just a combination of all of the best runners.
And that's why.
Basically.
Can we go back, like, several episodes real quick? There was one other gimmick that I forgot to mention. I think it was the green team. The green team match had a gimmick. Their relationer wasn't actually even doing anything. It was literally, like, I think the anchor was giving all the instructions. And the other guy was just kind of
The anchor was giving all the instructions, yeah.
So that was kind of cool.
And he was meant as a decoy.
I meant to mention that, way back then, but it just occurred to me.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah. No, that bit was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, like, we can go ahead and skip ahead to the next match, which was again with Saisei.
We have one of my actually, there's 2 episodes in between the time trial and Saisei. We get like 2 training episodes before they rematch Kelstan.
Right.
I don't think we need to go too deep into either of them. One of them is the beach episode where they just go hang out at the pool.
Well, they don't go hang out at the pool. That's the one where they're like I can't remember their names. Yagami and Fujiwara.
Yeah, they're like fighting, so they're trying to get the team.
They're
back
trying
together.
to get them to like realize how important teamwork is. So they go to the pool.
There's one of my favorite single lines. I don't think that's how it was meant, but like the way I heard it was freaking hilarious. Shogi Boy is trying to wriggle out of doing too much work because at this point he's been hard replaced. Like as soon as Kyosuke joins the team, Shogi Boy doesn't run again.
No.
And so he's still having to train, but he's not like actually doing anything with it. And so someone calls him out and is like, "Look, are you just trying that hard to goof off?" And he just, I swear this is exactly how it sounded. He just puts his thumb up and goes, "Yee."
It was probably pretty
and
close.
as someone who regularly goes, "Yee," I really liked that.
I feel like you had a spiritual connection.
I shared a moment with Shogi Boy right there.
Yeah. Or should I say an emotional connection? Oh, man. Oh, that was bad.
So basically, we get 2 episodes of training dealing with Legman and Yagami's conflict, and then also dealing with Yagami's, like, relationship with his brother and with Stride as a whole.
Yeah.
And there's also a really, really big snow cone that Sakurai tries to eat, and that happens. Because that's how they bring them back together.
Okay. Well, she doesn't try to eat it. It's not like necessarily that she wants to eat it. I think she does.
Well, she does, but that's not the only reason.
Yeah. But also, like, she's doing it also to get Fujiwara and Yagami to actually do something together. Because no matter what they tried, they couldn't get they were just, like, proving that you could do anything alone. It was just super cheesy, which was funny.
Yeah.
Because, like, even when they were playing beach volleyball, the two of them were able to keep up with each other.
They just carry, yeah.
It's just like a one-on-one, basically.
Yeah, no, that was really good. But yeah, no, she orders this, like, snow cone challenge, and the guy's like, you don't want to order that. I've only seen it successfully done once, and it was 3 sumo wrestlers. Because it's like, it's this huge snow cone, and a 3-minute time limit? Like, I feel like 3 minutes is just, no, that's not happening.
That's kind of the point. That's why it's a challenge.
Well, no, even food challenges usually give you, like, 20 minutes to half an hour. Like, 3 minutes is obscene.
But here's the thing, right? That's just water.
Still, I feel like that's a bit ridiculous.
And you could have up to 3 people. Like, it's not the most unreasonable thing.
Either way, Sakurai doesn't even come close to managing it, but Riku and Legman are both, like, very competitive and hop in, and they end up clearing it together.
Yeah, at the last second.
And then they both just die.
Yeah. And then they're able to go train again.
It's all good.
Yeah, then we get Yagami's whole trauma with his brother, which I will say, it's very different from, like, other shows, right? Because, like, a lot of times, like brother trauma, especially, like, when it comes to, like, a sport, like an athletic thing, a lot of times, not even just in anime, but, like, the brother will have been, like, pushed, like, the older brother will have pushed his younger brother too hard, and his younger brother doesn't want to do it anymore. But in this case, his older brother, like, he did push him too hard, but then once Yagami was like, I don't want to do it anymore, his older brother was like, oh, okay, I'm sorry I pushed you that hard.
Yeah, like, I feel like,
you know, it was
it's not really a good move to, like, assign blame in situations like this, but I feel like really it's on Riku more than anything, because, like, I feel like Tomoe wasn't, like, disrespectful about it.
No, he wasn't. And it was definitely, like, it was, God, so refreshing to see. It's not like I necessarily, like, want this to happen more, you know, or anything. I'm totally happy with seeing happy brother relationships in sports anime. Mm-hmm. That's something, that's okay. It's okay. Please do it more. But, yeah, no, like, it's seeing like, their relationship and seeing how it wasn't completely his brother's fault.
Yeah.
You know, even though, like, I think there's still, like, a little bit to it, you know, but also it's more like, it's more of the thing of, like, trying to live up under your brother's shadow when your brother's, like, a genius.
He's the Luigi of Stride.
Okay.
But that's also part of why, like, that's why Legman and Yagami were beefing so much, was because Legman reminded Yagami of his older brother.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And
then
he has a lovely conversation with the Galstan guy, and he just like spills his heart out, and he's just like, dude, y'all are chill. I don't remember how the discussion goes, but they have, like, a heart to heart, and I'm like, that's really good. He's there for him. The Galstan dudes are good.
Yep. That's the episode where the whole bread thing happens at the end, as well, just for future reference if you want to look it up.
Yeah, no, that was lovely.
But, like, speaking of relationships, though, I think this is as good a time as any. I just want to talk about, like Sakurai and her dad's relationship. I really like, you know, because first off, yeah, it's kind of shitty that he just left her, you know, to live with her grandparents.
Yeah.
After her mom died and everything. But also, he doesn't force her to do anything.
Yeah, no, because when she turns down the invitation to switch to Kakyoin, she's like, I'm sorry, but my home is Honan. I have my own form of Stride here. And he's like, I understand where you're coming from. Do your best. And I'm just like, dude, family emotional support.
Like, at first, I mean, like, even at first, right? Like like when he's like telling her, hey, you know, at first when he calls her and it's like says that, you know, and she's like, I don't, I can't, you know, she isn't able to give him any kind of answer there. But then when he meets with her in person after their match against each other, he's like, hey, I really think you do well over here. Here's like the pamphlet for the school and everything. I really think you should transfer. And she's basically he isn't saying it like transfer or I'm going to disown you.
Yeah, no.
It's still just like a seriously consider it. Like, just don't like go with your gut based on a video you saw on YouTube.
To
like,
compare to a show,
I like that a lot.
Compare to a show that I liked and that you didn't. This is so much better a diatribe than like Judo Girl and her dad from Keijo. Like, that's not you're in the wrong sport or you're on the wrong team. No, it's I'd like it if you come and join me, but you are your own person and you are doing well for yourself. Keep doing well. And I'm just like, dude.
It's like I love it. The thing. It's like as long as you're doing, as long as you know what you're doing and you've seriously considered it, that's fine. Because that's what I think a parent needs to do. Is like, it's supposed to guide. They're supposed to guide their kids, not control them. And guiding part of that is like, hey, make sure this is what you want to do, and if that's what you want to do, then I'll support you. That's exactly what he does. It's great. I'd love to see it. You don't see as many of those healthy single father relationships.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely not as much.
Like definitely single mother relationships are very common. But also we're not just going to go over the fact that it was shitty that he left, but also that might have been the only way he really could have gotten money at that point.
Yeah, no, we don't know the specifics behind that, and otherwise his interaction with her is really good. I appreciate it.
Exactly.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
Like, we talked about this with the Hon and Gelstan interaction. We talked about this with the Yagamis. We talked about this with these two now. This show has good character relationships.
And I think, honestly, part of that might be because it's from a visual novel. Because the writing in a visual novel is so key, right? Like, the character dialogue that's basically what a visual novel is, you know?
Yeah.
And so, like, having that super strong writing there, like, you need that to have a good visual novel. And, like, honestly, a really good story, but it helps create these characters, especially in, like, an Otome game, where you're supposed to be choosing somebody to be with or whatever, you know? Like, you need like strong choices to make it kind of difficult, I guess, to choose which one. So yeah, I don't know. I loved that relationship a lot. Just I thought that would be the best place to mention it.
Yeah.
And since actually, that was about where we were too, because that was right at the end of that actually happened right at the end of the time trial. So we'd already skipped ahead of it a little
With
bit.
the exception of like one thing, I think we really just need to talk about the final episode here. But I do want to mention.
Okay.
We find out why Legman was seeing them as children was because, and apparently everyone except Legman forgot about this. Legman, younger Yagami, and Sakurai all met when they were little at the first end of summer celebration. And made a promise to each other to go to Honan and do Stride. But then the two that weren't Legman, you know, did that thing where you grow up and forget about things you said when you were like 7.
Yeah. It's like part of me watching the show is like, man, that's kind of like, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, why would they just forget that? But then also the other part of me was like, no, they were dumbass kids.
Yeah, I don't remember Jack Diddley from back then. I wouldn't have remembered something like that.
I barely remember specific events that happened in college. Like, I don't really remember high school at all. So, like, it's not really that far-fetched that they forgot, especially Yagami, who is so... Like, it makes sense why Fujiwara remembered, because it was his first ever Stride.
But, like, he also just seems like that kind of character as well. Like,
right.
He's very much data and analyst.
He also fixated his life around that promise.
Yeah, he's the guy that will just walk up to random people and start feeling their legs to decide if they're good at Stride or not, which is kind of like, hey, you know, that's not cool, Mr. Gremlin Man. Keep your hands to yourself.
But it's also, it's a good gag.
Yeah.
It's a good gag. But Yagami is like, he's kind of no thoughts, head empty. And Sakurai was, she really liked Stride, and so I think she just kind of forgot about that one specific incident.
Yeah, no, which again is completely
That's
understandable.
right. Yeah, makes sense. And then I really liked the line too when Fujiwara was like we were no, there's a reason we're all three here, and we're gonna win. And they were like, oh, what is that, like fate or something?
Mm-hmm.
Or no, no. I think Yagami says destiny. I think is specifically the word. And Fujiwara's like, no, I don't believe in destiny. I just believe in. He stops and he's like, well, good night.
Yeah.
And just like runs off.
Yeah, because I think he was going to say it was
'Cause he
their
can't
promise,
tell
and he
him.
just didn't say it at that point.
Yeah, he was going to, but then he was like, oh, they forgot. I can't.
Yeah, that's why he
act
didn't.
like a weirdo. Yeah, like that was his line for being a weirdo, not feeling up people's.
So
lungs.
I only have one note on the final episode because I was just invested. I wrote down one thing at the very beginning and then just checked out to watch the episode.
Okay. Okay.
But basically they were like, look, we need us all going all out. We've done all of this, we've done all this training, but I think one thing that needs to happen is these opportunities need resolved. And what we mean by that is they do a motion to have Yagami take Anchor's position away from Legman so that he can race against his brother. Because they know that Tomoe is going to be Anchor.
Yeah, because he is the best player on the team, or best runner on the team, and that's always the Anchor.
Yeah.
To try to catch up in case something happened earlier on in the race.
Yeah. Yeah. You put your best person last.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. And so that also means that Legman is like somewhere in the middle, which is a little weird for him. And I think they have Heath start.
Yeah.
Because normally Yagami is start because he's really fast at the beginning and tapers off, and they want the rest of the race to like recover from that. But that's what they've been working on fixing, is so that he doesn't slow down.
Yep. Yeah, so they go through that whole race, and honestly, I mean, yeah, there's not like a whole lot to say about this race.
Well, because
Really?
this is actually exactly the comment that I had, is that even though this is the final race, everything has been building up to this. They don't draw it out as a big flashy race. They don't draw it out as this big choreographed fight scene, quote unquote. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's more glazed over. In fact, a lot of it is more stylized, artistic. Like when they get to the final stretch, both of the Yagamis are running off into a blinding light. They don't actually show the end of the race.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah. And also, one of the things I really liked too about this race is that the whole time Yagami is, because at the beginning of the race, Tomoe asked him why he was there.
Yeah.
And he, so while everybody else is running, Yagami is explaining, and he's talking about each member as it's showing their section of the run. But obviously it's not like a lot, it's just a few sentences each. And then we finally get to their bit, and they're running it. Then during their part, like you see, like all of the other teams that they raced against, like the one you see Gal stands there, they're holding up like a sign thing. The pink team was holding up a sign that's saying "Go Honen," and I mean, a Galstan had already given them, said like, "Hey, you better take this right here, this, and you better this is you winning.
You eliminated us
chest.
from end of summer, so by golly, we're only allowed to lose to first place."
Yeah, exactly.
It's so good.
It's great. Yeah. So there's that whole thing, and then before we see the end of the race, it cuts to like next or like back at the begin or the next semester of school, because the race happens at the end of summer.
Whoa, no way.
That's why they call it that. And we just get to see them just hanging out in the club room. Like is just like episode 1. It's a really good callback. Like they're playing shogi, and like the 3 first years come in and stuff. It's great. I love it.
It's really
so
good.
much. And the only reason, and we do find out who wins. We
With
do,
the final
because
shot.
I mean, obviously, if they don't say that, this show would, oh man, the least satisfying ending, because it is important who wins. It's not like it doesn't matter.
It's like the opposite issue I had with Babylon, where like with Babylon I was like, good, leave it open ended, and then they don't, and I'm like, no. But then in this one they try to leave it open ended, and then they don't, and I'm like, okay, good, thank you.
Yeah, They like pretend, they like fake you out that it's going to be open.
Yeah, I thought they were just gonna leave
but
it
it's
there,
not.
and I'm like, dude, come on, man.
Yeah. It very much reminds me of this is not going to be spoilers, okay. But like the final episode of Megalobox season 1. Very reminiscent of that. And but yeah, no, it's really good. We find out that that Honan did win. And so for once Yagami was able to beat his brother. And it was great.
It was really good, and it was really beautifully done at the end. The focus was on the emotional journey and the bonds so much more than it was the race, which is not what I expected from a show about foot racing.
See, this is what sports anime is. It's about the characters.
Which is not what
really
I
about the sport.
expected, because that's what kept me
I keep telling
that's
you
what
that.
kept me away from sports shows, because why do I care about sports? But then
You don't
you have something like
It's
this
not
where
about the
like
sports.
sports is the backdrop for character development.
That's how sports anime are. That's why it doesn't matter what you're into. Like, you can like any type of anime. Like, it literally doesn't matter. So, yep, that's the show.
That's the show. We've made it
This
to the
is
end.
a time. Oh, nope. Before final thoughts, we have one thing to do.
I don't
All
have
right.
an answer.
Who was best boy?
So what are the criteria? Are we allowed to pick from the entire show, or are we restricted to the Honen cast?
You pick from whoever you want.
Okay, because if we were stuck with the Honen cast, I'd say Koinada, and he's still like running for the best. Like,
Yeah.
I made this joke with other people, not just with you. I repeatedly called Koinada best girl.
Okay.
But
So who is?
I can't for the life of me remember his name. But the pink-haired butler man from Galstan was so elegant. And honestly, I think part of it is a design thing, because Kyosuke has a very similar design, and both of them I'm like, you look excellent. Keep it up, dude.
Uh-huh.
But then also just the attitude the butler man has, where he just kind of like rolls with it and is like helping people out because he helps Sakurai get better. He has that back and forth with the goblin man himself. And he's also just being the goodest boy he can to Reiji. It's lovely. So it is between either Butler Man or Koinada, with Kyosuke like right behind. So that's like that's my top.
Okay.
I'll give it that way.
All right. Okay. Well, do you have any idea
No.
who mine is? I'm curious.
No, I don't.
Not at all.
I'm getting a
Okay.
better read about your best girl choices. This is a little bit different. For context, actually, I might be able to guess if you're willing to give me a little bit of information. Who was your
If I give you
who was
what?
your favorite in School Earth Defense Club?
The pink guy.
Oh, right. And you were like, it's because pink hair. So obviously Kyosuke. Duh.
It is Kyosuke. Yeah, he's my favorite one.
You make fun. Yeah, you
but I
make
will
fun
say-
of me and the whole white hair thing, and then you're just as predictable.
This is like one of the first times you've ever guessed. But I don't just like him because he has pink hair.
Sure.
Like there's my very close second is Yagami Riku,
Okay.
because I really like his personality and stuff. But like Kyosuke, I also like his personality. He's very cool, calm, and collected, and everything. And also, he has a motorcycle, which is sick as hell, dog.
Motorcycles are loud and annoying. I'm sorry.
All right, well, this is the last episode of A Shot of Weeb.
I don't like loud things. I'm sorry.
Oh man, those are my two favorites. Kyosuke just barely beats out Riku, but I do really like them both. If I had to choose a third, that's tough.
I mean, you don't have to choose a third. I wasn't
No.
decided
Like
enough to be
the
able
reason
to-
it's tough. The reason it's tough, okay, is because if it was like top 3 characters, then Sakurai would be number 3.
Can I also just take a moment to acknowledge that like all of them are good? Like Keith was really great, Shogi Boy was really great. Like they're all good.
Yes, they're all really
The
good.
green-haired Galstan
Yeah,
fanboy.
that's why it's hard
so
for me
good.
to choose like a third. Yeah,
Banchan,
no,
amazing.
they're all great.
Everybody's good.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go into final thoughts. Since I have already seen this show before, this is a rewatch for me.
No,
I'll
you
let
go
you
first.
go first.
I'm putting my foot. Then you go first. Are we gonna like try to outwill each other here?
No, because I'm tired.
I would really like to. I would really like to go second here.
Okay. So first, I think I've said this before. The first time I watched this show was as it was airing, back in 2016. It was my first sports anime I'd ever watched, and after the first episode, I immediately went out for a run. Like, it inspired me that much. And then immediately I started watching Haikyuu after this one, and obviously I've come to love Haikyuu a lot. But this one was I always had fond memories of it, right? I was afraid that it was just because, it was like the first sports anime I'd watched, and I wasn't remembering it as well or anything. But I'm very happy to say that that's not the case. This show is so good. It's so well done. The character designs are amazing. The like dynamics of all the characters are great. There's no assholes. Like, really, nobody I just hate in this show. It's all like rivalries, like good rivalries. And I love
The wholesome
that. Like,
guide.
I do like me some assholes every once in a while, but like, it's nice to see. Oh God, that was bad. I just realized what I said.
I realized what you said immediately.
I do like some asshole characters every once in a while. God. All right, buddy, we can stop laughing. I do like me some asshole characters every once in a while. But it's nice to have some, just a wholesome show, wholesome sports anime. And I also like that it's a full, complete show with 12 episodes. I don't really feel like I need more. It feels like it wraps up really well. So yeah, that's why. And I mean, I don't know if you would be able to guess this score or not, but it is a 9 out of 10 for me. I do really like this show, and I'll probably go back to it.
I thought you were going to 10 it, I'll be honest.
Every few years. A 10,
I thought
really?
You were going
no, it's not quite a 10 for me. Yeah. No, not quite. Not quite. It's on the upper 9s, though, I would say.
Okay.
So,
I'm trying to figure out the order I'd like to do this. I think the way I'm going to do it, I would like to preempt it with telling you specifically, don't inflate your ego too much, because I know you like to brag when I enjoy a show you mention.
Oh, here we go, baby.
Easy 9 that I considered promoting to a 10. We're actually in agreement for once.
Let's go.
It doesn't hit 10 for me. As much as I give really generous scores, it is actually still pretty hard to hit a 10 with me. I've only given, if you count 2 seasons of the same show, I've given a 10. I've only given 5 things a 10. There's a huge bubble of like 7s and 8s for me. But I had never been interested in sports anime. I was not interested in the slightest when you suggested this show. In fact, I told my friends that, we're having to watch a sports anime. And it wasn't Keijo, which I had a different diatribe with Keijo, because I knew it was, like, supposed to be dumb. But I watched the first few episodes. I wound up watching this over a couple of sittings, because that's just how the timing worked out. And so I'm a fat man who hasn't run for anything except freaking student council in, like, 8 years. Okay. I wanted to go take a run after this. I wound up booting my VR, and it wasn't Beat Saber. I played a game similar to Beat Saber, and I was into it. This show energized me, and that is hard to do when I'm a lazy fat man. So, like, it gets huge props for that. Yeah, no. And it got better as we talked about it, because I hadn't, like, pieced together just how good all of the relationships are. The duality between the Sakurais, between the Yagamis, between... I kind of acknowledge Galstan and Honan as being just adorable together, but, like, whatever. But yeah. Realizing that's a thing through the whole show, realizing there are no characters that, like, suck. Everything... It's all good. This is all good. I was grinning through the end of the 12th episode, it got me emotionally. Not to the same degree that requires for a 10, because a 10 show has to connect really strongly with me.
Yeah.
But it was pretty fucking close for a show that I had severely expected to not like. As such, I'm going to lead that into our request for next show. We have both an announcement that goes along with that.
Yeah.
So if you've been watching these as they release, you've noticed that we've had a little bit of trouble getting the last 2 episodes out, just a little. So we're taking
Just a tiny
we're going to
bit.
take a little bit of time to sort of like straighten everything out and get everything fixed back up. So there will be no upload next week. We'll be back the week after that, though. And since I find myself with a bunch of extra spare time, I am temporarily between jobs. I figured now is the time to commit to a longer show than we normally talk about. We normally do 12 episode. We're hitting a 25 this time?
5?
I think it's
believe,
25. Now that I've realized that, hey, sports anime isn't literally just sportsing, and there's actually stuff to it, I'm watching a show. I've suggested we watch a show that is very highly recommended by a close friend of mine, because he has not known a single show we've talked about on this podcast so far. When we come back from our short break, we will be watching Kuroko no Basket, or Kuroko's Basketball, I think the English title is.
Yeah, that's the English title, yeah.
So, we're finally going to be giving that a kick.
Yep. See, I've already seen it, but it's been a few years.
I have only...
Because I watched it immediately after Haikyuu.
I have only seen the first episode. And that was years ago. That was back in high school. With the same friend I was just talking about, actually. He made me watch it.
Yeah. So we are also only going to watch season 1.
Wait, there's a season 2?
Because there's 3 seasons. Each are 25 episodes.
Okay, yeah, we're only doing season 1.
Because I know that's why I know it's 25 episodes, is because it's 75 total.
I didn't realize there was that much of it. I always forget.
Evenly split. Yep. Yeah, no, it should be a fun time. I'm so excited you're finally diving into the world of sports anime the same way I did too. Well, almost.
I mean,
Haikyuu would have
we
been
were
next,
about
but...
to go to a very completely different one. I had picked a different show, one that we talked about doing like 15 episodes ago.
Yeah.
Because
you've been talking about doing that one for a
lot
while.
of the shows we mentioned at the very beginning, we've finally gotten to. Like, I remember mentioning when we finally watched Babylon, I was like, yo, this is one of the ones we considered for the first episode. We didn't consider Darling in the Franxx for the first episode, but we considered it for like the 4th or something, and it just never happened.
Yeah, it was really early on.
But I wound up detouring at the last second. Sorry.
That's fine with me. Love me some sports.
We need to get around to talking about a 10 at some point. The problem is most of the 10s I've given are too long to talk about on the podcast, or they're a specific show that I am intentionally waiting on.
Yeah, and you don't like my 10s because you don't like good stuff. Except apparently you like Princess Stride, so we're finally getting there.
Than I thought it'd be.
And man, my ego is so inflated.
I told you not to. I told you not to.
It's your fault, dude.
Is this the first time we have like exactly agreed on a rating since Kill la Kill? I think it is. I don't think we've given the same number since then.
It's the only time except for Kill la Kill.
Yeah, because sometimes we'll give close numbers. This is the first time in a long while we've directly agreed.
Yeah. And so with that, I guess I'll do our shill bit here.
As speedy as possible. I don't want to take away from the moment.
Yeah. All right, so if you're watching us on YouTube, go check us out on Anchor or any other audio platform. Take us with you wherever you are. And if you're listening to us on one of the audio platforms, go check us out on YouTube. We have face cameras, so you can see our beautiful faces. It's really cool.
In quotation marks, no promises.
If you would like to donate to us, we have a link on our Anchor page that you can, though it's not expected. And if you would like to support us in another way, you can just listen to the episode on Anchor. We have ads, and so that'll give us a little kickback. But obviously we're not here for that, just if you want to. But if you do send us like $1 or $2, just DM one of us on Twitter
if you wish,
and we will if you wish, and we'll shout you out. You don't have to though, obviously. Speaking of Twitter, though, go follow both of us on Twitter.
I've been trying to use it more often. We'll have updates on
if episodes are late. Yeah, so we'll have episode updates and stuff. And then you can go subscribe to my YouTube channel where I make anime. I
feel like
that
that
is
kind of the difference between our Twitters. Is like you like a lot of pictures, you talk about shows you've watched. I post when things happen with A Shot of Weeb. I do all the back end work.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, every link that I just mentioned will be down in the description. No matter where you're watching or listening, what have you. So yeah, I think that's shill segment over.
And we'll be back the next two nexts in a bit.
The next episode will be out later.
Episode 25, Kuroko in a Basket, will happen in a time.
Yes, that's true. Those are facts, bro. You're spitting facts. So yeah, we'll see you then.
See you then.
Bye-bye.